sequence
Yeah.
was that Doug built TMG, which was a compiler, recursive descent compiler. It would parse compiler kind of syntax and issue things every time it found something, right? And he wrote the compiler, and he wrote the compiler in the compiler. It was amazing. It was great. And I wrote B in that language. And then I wrote B in B because it was that kind of language. And then Dennis wanted to use B on the 635. It only existed on the 7. And he moved it with a compiler. He actually produced code, while my B only produced opcode stuff. An internal language, an intermediate language that I interpreted to actually get things done.
Okay.
And part of that was because of space. There was no space on the PDP-7, and it had to compile itself, which was just horrible in 4K. And so he was moving to the 635, which is infinite space, right? And so he actually wrote a real compiler for the 635 and called that thing NB, new B.
Mm-hmm.
And then life went on. Then we got our PDP-11. So he modified for the PDP-11 the B language to handle bytes efficiently. And it was very well done, and it was installing types. Now, B had no types, nothing but words. That's why it was so painful on a PDP-11, because you had to combine 4 bytes to make a word, and if you really wanted only a byte worth of data in it, you're wasting 3/4 of precious space. So he added types to NuB, and added, basically one of the types is byte to NuB. And when that happened, it was time to move Unix over to PDP-11. Dennis and I decided to write it in NuB. I just lost track. It was just too big and complicated. Things fell off the floor, and I couldn't pick it up, and certain things were too hard to do. And then so I'd go back and we have a discussion, Dennis and I, and we'd come up with a modification to NuB, put it in, I'd try again. Now, the third version of Unix on the PDP-11 in a higher level language is the one that worked. And it was when Dennis put structures in NuB. He brought it over to the PDP-11. He modified it to be operating system sensitive until it was able to support an operating system well enough to, and somewhere along there it's changed its name to C. Well, everything we did was moving off the problems with B. B was never really an operating system language. It was used to write B, so it was a compiler language, especially if the compiler was word-oriented. And we used it to drive the typesetter and a couple of other things because it was immensely portable. I could change the intermediate language in way less than a day and have a full running B on any machine. And almost everything we did was to take some piece of B out of it and put something better in.
Okay.
And again, I say we consulted on what to do next and what was wrong with the current one. Dennis did the work.